Hi,
Hello.
and welcome to another edition of Old School or New School. We are your humble hosts, Nick and Lance. So, no one requested this.
I think Amber did. I think she, in the last month's episode, she threw it down in the comments for us. Or she maybe mentioned it to me. I forget which.
I don't remember. I know that we've got some other interesting ideas rolling around. But we felt like we needed to get this one done first.
Sure. Oh, I think this is a good comparison. And the movies in question being...
Karate Kid.
Yeah. I mean, some people, maybe they didn't read the title. Maybe they're just so excited to see a scene-by-few episode that they just click on our faces immediately.
That was my fault, and I'm sorry. So yeah, we're doing a comparison, or of the not necessarily a comparison, but the 1984 Karate Kid versus the 2010 Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, and then you have Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. So we're going to do our normal shtick where we basically get our ratings out of the way, just so you don't have to sit through a bunch of yada, 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 in case, you've been sitting around your house for the past couple of days going, I really want to watch Karate Kid.
Now's as good a time as any.
Agreed. So, Nick, on a scale from 0 to 10, what would you give the original 1984 Karate Kid?
So I wrestled with this one, and I was bouncing between two numbers. And I think I finally settled on a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was bouncing between 6 and 7.
Okay.
And I think what ultimately made me bump it up to a 7 is I will watch this movie again. Whereas I think with a lot of movies that are 6s, I might watch it again if I'm feeling squirrely someday in the future, where I'm like, what was that movie like? Maybe I like it better. I'll watch Karate Kid again.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
So I think it deserves at least a 7.
All right. Cool.
Lance, what about you?
I would give this movie... A young Lance would give the movie like a 9, but a Lance today would give the movie... Let's say 7.
No, I was going for nostalgia.
So I shot under, you shot over.
Yeah. Well, I was like, ooh, is he going to be a 7? I'm like, I don't know. It's old.
Yeah.
Just like now.
Yeah. I mean, it's so building off the lore of Cobra Kai.
Yeah. So I think a lot of what I remember about this movie is built upon in The Karate Kid 2 and 3, and then also Cobra Kai. I've only seen like 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. I'm not. It's okay.
Amber and I really like it, but this last season, it's kind of showing the writers, the way they were bringing in like old characters from the movies. Like I really liked that. I loved that. Some dude in Johnny's gang got a call out of the blue, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come do an episode of fucking Karate Kid?" And they're like, "Oh my god, that movie's like gonna..."
Yeah, they send him get him a body bag guy.
Put him in a body bag, Johnny. Yeah, that guy got a call out of nowhere and was like, "Holy shit, that."
It's like, yeah, I'll do it.
That's still cutting checks. Holy wow. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. But we liked seeing like the characters come back up, and
now, I think it might have been the 3rd season. I don't remember which season. It ended in a weird way, and I'm kind of like, So when the next season came out, I just wasn't immediately on it. And then like the 4th season came out, and then like the 5th, and I'm behind. And I've just not gone back to rewatch it. I imagine I will at some point in time, because I like William Zabka.
Yeah,
he was good.
Yeah, I've still got a picture on my phone somewhere of me taking a picture, Amber taking a picture with Zabka, and he's like, Ralph Macchio's right there, and I was like, "Hi, Ralph." So, anyways, because I like Ralph Macchio. You like Daniel LaRusso, and the guy that even played Kreese was there as well. And he was like, you can get these guys autographs, and I was like, I really appreciate you, pumping your boys up, but I'm good. If you had Pat Morita sitting here, I'd be like, oh fuck yeah, sign something for me. I would have got a picture with him, but yeah, like Martin Cove was there, and Ralph Macchio was there, and Amber just really wanted a picture with Zabka, so we've got a picture of her, like, I've got pictures of her like posing with like other celebrities we've seen at Dragon Con. This one, she like is completely fangirling, and I fucking love it. I'll see if I can find it. I might stick it in the comments. But anyways,
Yep.
let's move
Yeah,
on.
move on to the 20.
Yeah. So Nick, the 2010 Karate Kid, 0 to 10. What would you give it?
I'm also going to give it a 7.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought you would not like it at all.
That's good. I mean, it's the same fucking movie.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it is the same. It is the same movie, but it's like I figured. I don't know. I guess I'm used to you not liking stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think we will dive into it in like when we really start doing spoilers. But for the most part, they're the same fucking movie.
Okay. All right. Well,
What would you give it?
I would give it a 6.
Natalie's got that one.
All right.
I'm the best around.
Nothing ever gonna keep you down. Oh man, that song got so much mileage in the 80s.
It did.
Whoa. But anyways, all right.
All right, so we're comparing two movies, of course, spoilers. So click away if you've never seen either of the Karate Kids. But I think the new one is like differently just as good as the old one, but with different parts. Because I mean, like Pat Morita is funny and a lot of fun to be around, but then Jackie Chan's Jackie Chan, and I think he brings a lot to it too.
Agreed.
And it's hard to like which one's better. Well, that's kind of a hard choice.
Yeah.
And then you got like Daniel LaRusso versus Dre Parker, and I think they're both pretty good.
So
And maybe, I mean, white guy from New England is a little bit easier for me to connect with, but I think that's more of a me thing than anything per se.
right.
For I'm a white New Yorker. Actually, I'm more of a Mainer, but
I was about to say you're more of a Mainer.
I was born in New York.
Oh, so I thought you were born in Maine.
No, my family's from Maine.
So what was that shit that you were like? I was born in a lobster trap. They hauled me in off the bottom of the ocean on a boat. Like, what was that whole thing?
For us, it's a lobster. I was in a lobster trap.
It was in a lobster trap.
Lobster. Yeah.
Lobster.
It's very similar to Boston.
Okay. Yeah, but I can see it.
All just and anything with an lobster.
Lobster.
Yeah.
I parked the car in the
I
Harvard yard.
Park the car in Harvard Yard.
Parked the car in the Harvard yard.
And what was it going on for some chowder?
It's pronounced chowder.
Chowder.
In case you haven't figured it out, yes, we're in the spoiler part.
We're good. It's time for people to click away.
So
and I think it is. I mean, it's the same. Like the story beats are there and the same, and it's just more of a bigger fish out of story. Things. One goes cross coast, the other one goes crossed planet. Same general, I guess. A class or whatever, because Daniel's kind of like they're living in like the boonies or whatever, and I think Dre is supposed to be something similar where they're kind of like the same thing, and then like their love interests are both more high class, and they're getting picked on by random bully.
Right.
It's except I think Johnny Lawrence was supposed to be a bit high class as well. I don't know. I don't remember the bully's name in the next one, which I think is what gives the original a little bit more weight. Is I think William Zabka is a bit more memorable.
Well,
but also I grew up in the fucking 80s and 90s, so how much of that is
okay, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be honest. Like, how often had you thought of William Zabka before he showed up on the episode of How I Met Your Mother?
Literally zero.
Right. So that movie, for the most part, him in the movie, and that for the most part was, he's just another bad guy, right?
Sure.
So they fade into the background. You never think about him again. Then he showed up in How I Met Your Mother with Barney's big revelation that Johnny was the good guy.
Johnny was the villain. Yeah. Well, like I think when he met Zabka anyway, because like originally Barney's thing was like, it's like what was his name? Johnny Lawrence was the Karate Kid, and that whole spiel that he went through.
Right, and it was pretty convincing. But like rewatching it, no, he was definitely the bad guy.
Well, I think there's also talk of people being like, oh, he beat Johnny with an illegal head kick. Head kicks weren't illegal.
Well, no, like that's I think that's just something that they did
They
for that
essentially
show.
they invented whatever, where it kind of gets into like, well, you kicked him in the head. You're not allowed to kick him. Now there was plenty of head kicks before that. No one got disqualified for head kicks.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if the disqualification was below the belt.
Yeah. Amber made that comment when we were watching it the other night, and she was like, "So if that's an illegal head kick, well, what about the other guy that like full on got kicked right in his fucking nose?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think
It's head kicks weren't illegal."
And like the thing that I'd like to talk about real quick, because we're talking about it, is like the difference in tournament rules from the old 1984 movie and the tournament rules in the 2010. Those kids were trying to fucking murder each other, and they were 12-year-old kids, and like they were straight up like trying to kill each other. Like maybe it's just the progression of time where it's like, because when I was watching, I looked at Amber and I was like, this is like MMA.
Yeah.
Like some of the shit they're doing, like is just straight up MMA.
But I mean, it's also more entertaining to watch, just because I mean, it feels a bit more like real kung fu as opposed to like
Spaghetti Western kind of kung fu.
It's when you're watching like the American one, which is kind of like class karate, as opposed to like here's people who know martial arts versus here's some kids who like went to the Y and like learned a couple moves. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I think possibly because of Jackie Chan being there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, if there's any kind of martial arts, then if you're going to put Jackie Chan in the movie, he's going to bring it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zabka probably is like not YMCA trained like martial artist, because like I think he did a kip up at one point, which I think is exceptionally hard to do.
I can't do a regular up, let alone a kick.
I can barely do an up. So
I do the turtle.
the turn.
Help me out. Flip me up.
Hey, you reach your arm out, and just kind of push on the wall. No, I'm right there with you. But yeah, like the old school movie is fun to watch. I love Pat Morita. He's fantastic, especially when you think about Pat Morita. If you knew him when he was on Happy Days, or
Which I didn't.
I barely remember watching any of those. I think my dad used to like watch some of those when it came on Nick at Night, like way back in the day. So I think I watched a few of them. But like, I don't know. Like, he's just, and he was a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Fairly edgy comedian.
He's a comedian turned actor, and Jackie Chan would be a stunt performer turned actor.
Yes. But yeah, like, I'm gonna say that I like the old school version better than the new school version, only for the fact of it's kind of what you predicted in your card. It's nostalgia.
Yeah.
The movie it's comforting when I watch it. It's got all the same beats. The parts that ruin it, the original movie for me, is like Ralph Macchio. Like, funny enough, like the hero of the show. The dude is so awkward in that movie in the beginning of it. Like seeing how people talk to girls back in the 80s. Hey, come here. Get over here. It's like, okay.
I think you feel the 80s more than you feel the 2010s of it, which might be helped by the fact that, like, we're America-centric, and it's taking place in, the 10s in China, and like, who knows what that looks like.
Right.
I've never gone, like, further west than Ohio.
Been to California one time, and it was for 3 days. We barely got to see anything.
Yeah, you got to see all the Warcraft stuff or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, like we went. Oh well, I mean that's a lie. I've been twice.
Okay.
Went for BlizzCon, like the first ever BlizzCon they put on. Bought tickets to BlizzCon because my wife really wanted the little murky pet, and then I bought tickets and I was like, yeah, I spent like $100 for a ticket for her to get her murky, and then it was like, oh yeah, it shows up in a swag bag when you walk in the front door. So it's like, great, I just spent $100 for fucking nothing. And then the conversation was, well, what if we did go?
Yeah, we could just go.
Yeah, fuck it, let's just go. And that was a disaster. We went with no money, and it was a disaster. Thank God for our friends who like pulled us around. Y'all are the best. The second time was for Chris's wedding, and we actually got to see more of California that time. But you're talking to a person that's been out of the country twice.
I've been to Quebec.
Ooh,
When I was a youth.
Quebec, eh?
Yep, Quebec, eh?
Oh, nice, very nice.
I don't remember it.
Oh.
How was it? When you're asking, like, hey, what were you like when you were 8? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, what were you like when you're 10? Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember bits and pieces, but like, I'm not telling you anything like super insightful about when I was a kid, because all that stuff is gone and just kind of, or blended down into just kind of youth in my memory.
I could tell you all my childhood trauma from back then, but that's about it. Like all the horrible things that I just will not talk about. But like, yeah, it's the movie. I'm gonna give the old one, because Pat Morita's just great.
Yeah, I think they're both sevens to me, because I think they're both good, and they're both movies I'll watch again. I think what edges the original out in decimal points for me is mostly nostalgia. Because I don't know, I think the 2010s one might be a better movie, but it came second, and that's hard to like piece out in my brain.
Right.
That like I'm not just watching like, oh, this is just the same movie again. With like, explain the fighting was more fun to watch. Like when Jackie Chan like jumps out to save Dre is more amusing than when Pat Morita jumped out to save Machio.
Well, you're talking about like YMCA training. Like Pat Morita was YMCA training. Like,
Just doing a couple he did like a jump double kick to these two and like flip this guy, and it's like, oh yeah, now we're over. Whereas Jackie Chan did a full on making the kids beat themselves up while they were trying to fight him, and that was fun to watch.
Wrapping the one kid up in the jacket, that part was great.
Yeah, well, it's like he never hit the kids. He was either deflecting or turning their energy against them, or like when one's swinging at him, move a kid in the way. So they're all hurting them by trying to hit him. They're hurting themselves.
Yeah. Well, he did that one body check on that one kid when he deflected the energy, and he like basically stepped into him, body checked him away. But it's like he didn't punch him.
Yeah, he's not punching kids.
He had the one part where like he basically caught the two kids' hands and like pulled his fist up. The kid was like, and he's like, yeah, can I go to jail for this?
Yeah, or like when he flipped the kid up into the garbage can or whatever.
That part was dope.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Well, I mean, Jackie Chan, like any Jackie Chan movie, is fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day, in my 20s, we used to sit around and get high as hell and watch like City Hunter and like, which is a really fun one if you want to go back and like watch some funny stuff. City Hunter was a live action movie that he did based off of an anime.
Okay. From
back in the day, and like I'm pretty sure you've probably seen the clip on YouTube where like he lands on the video game machine and he turns into like Guile and.
I don't know if I've seen that.
You haven't seen that?
Oh, I don't know.
Holy shit. Okay, well I'll have to show that to you as soon as we're done with this. But anything Jackie Chan is fun, and the best thing about Jackie Chan movies is watching the ending credits and watching how hurt he got because he always does his own stunts.
Yeah.
I actually watched all the way through the end of the 2010 Karate Kid to see if there was anything like that.
They were like production photos or whatever.
Yeah. Like I expected to at least see one of him getting a concussion, but like Jackie Chan's getting up there, so like
even that there wasn't. He had like one action scene, and then like him was trading with Dre. That was about it. For the most part, he was just playing the mentor role.
He fell into the background, and so here's one thing that bothered me about the movie.
The 2010.
Yes. So Jaden Smith's fine. Like he was entertaining. I didn't like that the movie was based around 12-year-olds because having a love triangle between 12-year-olds is just that ring is false to me.
Whatever.
But
it doesn't bother me as much because whatever love story you're going to tell, I'm not going to get invested in anyway. Most likely.
No, I mean
I'm not invested with Machio and I don't know
Elizabeth Shue.
I was going to try to say. I keep calling him Machio. Between Danny and the character's name, I don't know.
Well, so when I say that, I'm not saying that like I was biting my nails, but it's like, will they, won't they? And it wasn't anything like that. It was, It's just, it seems like I can believe it's dudes fighting over a chick more when it's teenagers in high school.
Sure. But I guess in the 2010 one, it was less of them fighting over a girl because it was like, oh, this is like my cousin or some shit like that or whatever. It's more of like, hey, just stay away from her. She's
it was a friend of the family.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, he and she's like,
and he was like,
he likes you more than a friend.
Yeah, Cheng was just being a dick. Johnny was an ex-boyfriend being overprotective, sort of. It was different dynamic, so it didn't bother me as much with the 12-year-olds. Because I mean, it's not like a big love triangle sort of thing. It's more of like, this kid keeps picking on me because I was talking to like a friend of their family or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what was his name? His name was Mr. What in this? It wasn't Miyagi.
Wong.
I can't remember. I don't think it was Wong.
No, I was thinking Juan, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
But like, I did like the fact that they changed all the names and everything because
Mr. Han.
Mr. Han, that's what it was. I did like that they changed all the names so it was like you left.
Yeah.
And I think they had to do that more of for like Pat Morita, because if you would have tried to call Jackie Chan Mr. Miyagi,
Well, it's a Japanese name.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's like there are some people who get roles and they fucking just destroy the role on the way out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that Pat Morita is always and forever going to be known as Mr. Miyagi. I'm pretty sure you can actually go out on the street right now and be like, "So, who is this?" And they'll be like, "Mr. Miyagi." What's the actor's name? I have no idea. You know, but like he did a really good job. It was like you said that it was pretty much beat for beat for most of it.
Yeah, it's the high points are the same, and then you kind of change it a little bit. Like you've got the kid blowing up at the mom for, I don't even want to be here. You wanted to be here, and now I didn't have a choice in the matter. You had that in both scenes. You didn't have the fixed bike moment. I don't even think he fixed his skateboard to kind of get him initially interested, because like Mr. Miyagi fixed Danny's bike, and then Danny started hanging out and like doing the bonsai. Whereas in the 2010 one, they didn't have like that moment where they connected it until he hopped out and like beat the crap out of some dudes. You kind of had the short moment where he came in to fix, and he's like, noticed that like, hey, he's not picking up his jacket and disrespecting his mother, and like, hey, you clicked this on for hot water, and that was kind of like all that connected over at that point in time.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I guess they, instead of doing the bike scene to bring in Daniel, they just did you got your ass beat out in the parking lot, so I'm going to do the crazy cups thing on you, you know, and like fire hands, and which was actually, I guess it was better than...
Oh yeah, this Japanese magic. At least it looks like he's doing something.
Yeah.
He's doing like warmth on the chest, maybe to soothe muscles. And
I don't know, but it looked dope.
yeah, those.
It looked like he stuck the thing in there and like put the cups in there, and I've actually seen like a video of like people doing that stuff to like bring blood up to the top of the skin or whatever to help with bruising and stuff, or something like that.
Yeah,
but anyways, I don't know, but it was good. Like Amber and I went and saw it in the movie theater originally when it came out, and we walked out like just pleased.
Yeah,
you know,
it kind of makes me wish it was called the Kung Fu Kid.
And that was I think her biggest gripe.
Yeah,
is that it was kung fu, but I guess it's just when you're in different places, it's called different things.
No, it's karate's Japanese.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're Chuck Norris, please get down in the comments and tell us where we're fucking up on calling these different things. But yeah,
or essentially or name it after it. Because I mean, at least the Kung Fu Kid, I don't know if people would go in and expect it to be a different story. You call it the Karate Kid. Maybe people expect it to be the same story, and people aren't as like, man, what the hell is this? This is just the same movie with a different name, and be pissed.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to call it that, but I don't know. It feels slightly ignorant to me to be like, it's karate. Like, no, they're in China. They're doing kung fu. It's like, it's all karate. Like, no, they're different things. Like, nah.
I think that they did it. What was the other movie that they just recently did where they put the old name on it, but it was just not like they released a movie recently where they put the name on it, and like people were just like, the fuck, just to like get people. I'll think about it, and I'll probably edit it in on the end of it. But like I remember they were like, I remember we saw something and we were like, that was a shameless cash grab to call it this, because it wasn't anything. It was so bad I don't remember.
Great anecdote, Lance. No,
What?
Said great anecdote, Lance. I'm just kidding.
Maybe we can cut that part out. No, we don't know how to do that. But no.
One week over one take people around here.
Well, I think they did it basically for the nostalgia reasons. Karate Kid's coming back out.
Yeah, and I wonder if it manages expectations. You go in, it's the same story. It's a remake. But I kind of like what they did, rather than just recasting Danny as someone and recasting Mr. Miyagi as someone and like doing all that. It's kind of like, well, it's somewhere new. They're different characters. It's just the same story. It could exist in the same universe as Karate Kid. Maybe there's just someone else he's the Danny life doppelganger, where his life just mirrors all the big points of LaRusso.
I never thought about that.
What, that it could be the same universe? Sure. Yeah, it could be. I think it would even be neat to have like, maybe like before he leaves, he's flipping through the channel and you see like Ralph Macchio doing like a karate commercial or something like that.
Or like doing the crane kick and the kid's like, it looks stupid.
Or something. And kind of like a callback to say that it could exist in the same universe.
So that was the one other thing I wanted to point out was at least you saw Danny like practicing the crane kick. But like
Yeah, you never see him do
that
the
crazy
snake thing.
flip upside down and kick him in the back of the head shit was just like, okay, that came out of left field, but it looked really cool.
It did look cool, but you also see more of Dre doing like actual fighting with Mr. Han as opposed to pretty much all Danny was doing was just kind of like, I'm just doing the moves. And then you kind of had that one moment in which he's like, show me wax on, and he's doing that.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's also like you had the montage of like Dre actually like working out and like, you know, practicing
and
these different.
getting ripped.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was definitely different from the beginning of the movie to the end. Also, I challenge you to go back and watch like one of the first fights that Dre gets in with that kid. When he falls down, it looks like he shit his pants. There's like a big brown thing like right up his back. It looks like, I don't know.
Well, he probably fell on his ass and
probably mud.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, the ass kicking he was getting from that kid. I wouldn't blame him if he would have shit his pants. Just saying. I was like, because I remember I saw that and I was like, oh, that is great attention to detail. Because that kid is probably scared as fuck.
that'd be more of like, what, and stomach punch, and just kind of like, that's the muscle that like you have to punch to unleash everything.
That was the brown note.
Yeah.
That was the so, but yeah, like when he rolled over, I was like, did he shit his pants? Are they that brave in this movie to be
No,
like,
he skidded on the dirt.
well, you know, it's you saw it one way, I saw it another. But yeah, it was a good movie.
I think it is comparable in quality because there's stuff you're gonna love in the original. There's stuff I think is done better in the new one, but I think a lot of it's gonna be nostalgia, and you're gonna be like, man, the wax on, wax off stuff is so much better than the hang the coat and put on the coat stuff. But I mean, you saw one of them first, and I think that's hard to pull out of your brain. Just be like, man, they're just copying it. Yeah, of course they're copying it. It's a remake.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
They at least copied it enough that it's not the exact. He's not doing wax on, wax off. He walks in, you see the car, you're like, oh, it's just going to be the same. It's different.
Yeah, when's he going to give him the car? And then he takes a sledgehammer to it, and you're like, tournament's in 2 days. How's he going to fix it that fast?
Which I enjoyed that scene as well, where he just kind of like, I guess he spends all year fixing the car, so on the anniversary he can break the shit out of it. Then he spends the next year fixing the car, so on the anniversary he can break the shit out of it.
Hey, he goes Street Fighter on that shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like straight up, like Blanca right on the side of it.
Duck down, do the low kicks.
Yep. And then you got to throw in a hurricane kick every now and then. Otherwise, like, you miss out on combo points. Just saying. Anybody wants to challenge me on Street Fighter, bring it on.
You'd get so destroyed, I'm sure.
You think so?
I've never seen you play Street Fighter.
Like, it's funny because I was talking a little shit about that at work with some of my coworkers, and one of the manager at the time was just like, okay, I'm going to bring in my Raspberry Pi that has like the original Street Fighter on it, and they brought in the Turbo Edition and like the regular edition. I fucking dusted all of them. They played me one time and they were like, yep, you know, I'm good, and walked away. And then I was like, Turbo Edition, I'll play with one hand. So, like, yeah, I smoked y'all.
Maybe you play when I'm not here.
No,
It's muscle memory.
So many quarters back in the day.
Okay.
When you remember a couple of Hadoukens and like how to do the moves, like all the characters do the same shit. It's just indifferent.
It also matters when like you have all that stuff in and you're like, I've played a fighting game before, and it's like, oh, you're kicking the shit out of me. Okay.
I felt like
Time to put this down.
I felt like what's his name in Grandma's Boy when I went in there and started playing. How you play this game? What's high score mean? What's flawless victory mean? What is that?
Hey guys, what is it? Finish him. Do you guys think I should finish him?
It's Street Fighter. Why would they say that? But yeah, it was. They all walked out the room and was like, "Who wants some of the Great Bush?" When they were walking off, I was like, "Nobody." Thanks for bringing the Raspberry Pi in for all of 10 minutes, John. That was awesome. But anyways, yeah, I don't know if there's too much more I can add about the movie. It was. They both had their virtues. They both had their super memorable parts.
Yeah,
I think that I liked Jackie Chan as the Pat Morita, the teacher character, but I just think that Mr. Miyagi's more endearing.
it's hard to compare.
Yeah, but
And I think they are on equal footing. But because the characters are doing different things, it's kind of like, compare this comedian to this dramatic actor. Well, do you like comedies more? You might probably going to lean toward. Do you like dramatic moments more? You're probably going to lean towards this. It's hard just to like, which one's better? It's.
I think they had Miyagi just had more. Like, they didn't really do anything with Jackie Chan's character as far as like funny stuff. because he was just very, like crestfallen. I guess you were just supposed to feel like super sad for him the entire time. But like Miyagi, when Miyagi walked up from the guys on the beach that were like drinking beers on his thing and like karate chopped the top of the bottle, he's like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "Don't know, first time."
Yeah, don't know first time.
That part was fucking gold.
That's great. Or just like him trying to catch the fly, and then Daniel does it, and he's kind of like
beginner's luck.
He slams it down. Beginner luck.
But that was the part that I did like in this one. Whenever
he's like, trying to do it, and then he smacks it with a.
Well, he had the thing, and then you see him just go, pop, and then he gets it with fucking things, and Homeboy's like, "That's fucking gross." Like, I thought that was good. But yeah, I don't know if I can go on too much longer about this.
I think these movies are comparable to each other. And I think the new one got a lot of shit because Jaden Smith, like, oh, it's just nepotism or whatever. Because I think a lot of people shit on Jaden Smith for being Will Smith's kid. Which,
you hate him because you ain't him?
Yeah, and it's more of like, man, this kid never had to work for anything in his life. Yeah, sure, maybe. But I mean, don't shit on him for whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to be born famous. It's like, man, Jaden Smith's weird. Like, no shit, he's been famous forever.
Yeah, since he jumped out the womb. Yeah,
and it's kind of hard to like, man, I can't relate. Yeah, of course you can't. It's kind of hard.
The only thing that bothered me about it was like, you watch a Will Smith movie. Mm-hmm. It seems like he has it in his contract that he's got to have a song in the movie, which they had a song in this movie that Jaden Smith sang on. Mm-hmm. Like, so Will's already kind of like trying to send him down the same.
It's kind of like you're my clone, be me.
Yeah, I'm going to send you on the same trajectory that put me here, and then I guess at some point, Jaden Smith was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore, so I'm just going to be a little weird, and
I wonder how much of that is just pressure and how much of it is like you're going to be me and like do all this stuff I want you to do, and did he want to do all that stuff? I hope so. But who knows?
No, it's just. Can you name another Jaden Smith movie other than the really bad one? No, what was it? After Earth.
After Earth.
Yeah.
Can you name a movie but not the movie? I was like, I can't. Okay, give me.
Well, I just wanted to say it before you got it out because I know that was the one that got like super panned.
I was going to say to me like, After Earth. What the fuck else did he do? I don't know if I remember other stuff he's done.
So
he's done other things.
I just remembered another one he did where it was like, I think it was the dad and the kid, and the dad was like having a hard time like making ends meet.
Oh yeah, another Will Smith movie. Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah. Well, it's like Will Smith came out at one point and said, I will never do another movie again unless my son's in it with me. Mm-hmm. And then I think After Earth came out and he was like, fuck that, I'm rolling that shit back. And then started basically doing movies on his own again.
Well, did he roll it back, or was his kid finally like, Dad, I don't want to do this? Can I just be like a kid now, please?
I don't know. I'm not sure if
I don't know their life. I'm not going to pretend to.
I'm not sure if that's the movie that killed like Jaden Smith's career or whatever, but because I've never watched it. I've just heard that it was
I've not
really
seen
bad.
It either.
That's
why we can watch next April Fools.
After Earth?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to keep that one in our back pocket. Yeah, 2013. 2013.
Yeah, like all the stuff he's doing now is music videos. Upcoming projects. He's in some music videos. Music videos for Jaden Smith.
Intergalactic.
Planetary.
Let's see. The Proud Family. That's a cartoon, I think.
Yeah.
Photograph.
Yeah, The Day the Earth. Yeah, he's.
Life in a Year.
I guess name all the other movies he's in. He's not in a bunch of movies.
Jaden Cabin Fever. Oh wait, it's a music video. It's not the actual.
Yeah, music video. He was in The Day the Earth Stood Still music video. Trey Parker and The Karate Kid music video.
And Practical Jokers, the movie, as himself.
After Earth, he had a role in the music video. I think he's mostly. It seems he's mostly into music, and Dad's like act.
Well, it's like Halle Berry and Will Smith, and I guess it was like
Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett, yeah, not Halle Berry. Oh, just another scrumptious woman. Sorry, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, and it's like, do you want to be famous and like make millions of dollars? And then the kid's probably just like, I've got everything I'll ever need for the rest of my life.
He's already famous.
Yeah, he's set for life, so it's kind of like, I'll pursue art.
Yeah,
because that's what you do. If you have rich parents, you become an artist because you don't have to work. You can pursue your,
It kind of helps growing up around people who are making stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a quote today that I thought was pretty interesting. It said an artist's job is to reach into the void and pull something out and turn it into something worth being, or something like that. And I was just kind of deep, And, draw a picture. Or draw an extra little boobly, and maybe it'll like catch fire on the internet or something. I don't know. But anyways, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think they're both good, and I think one is more famous than the other, and it's always going to be more well known, and people are going to like that one more. And really, I think the new one stands up at least to be about as good as the old one. It's just lacking some of the stuff that you need for the nostalgia factor.
If Jackie Chan wasn't the Mr. Han in this movie, if it was somebody else, do you think the movie would have been as good?
I mean, maybe. Because I thought Jaden did pretty good. I liked Taraji P. Henson as the mom.
Mm.
I liked Mei Yin's actor. She was good. Like when she got up and did like the dance to Lady Gaga or whatever. I'm like, it's fucking good dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. Like he gets up and does a little pop and lock shit, and she gets up there and breaks it out. I liked that. The Ali or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She was mostly interested in Daniel, and like I guess she played arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mei Yin was like she was a concert violinist or whatever, and was training for all that stuff, and had like her character built up a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I think it's still good.
So that Dance Dance Revolution game, that was bullshit. There was no arrows.
I think it's supposed to be tracking how you dance and rating you based it, but rather than whatever. But clearly it was Dance Dance Revolution. They like colored off the little things and just had them get up on there and dance rather than them dancing like, because you can't Dance Dance Revolution dancing. It looks one very very particular way.
Yeah.
Step pit 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 pit, and it doesn't look like real dancing.
Yeah, no.
It looks like game dancing, which
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a dude that like goes into arcades and does Dance Dance Revolution, and like he'll actually just like he's turned it into a dance and shit.
Yeah.
People will fucking stop and just watch him.
Yeah.
But so you brought up a point that I wanted
Sure.
to ask another question on. Do you think they will ever make whatever the hell the rival dragons a flying dragon show on YouTube in 35 years?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I don't think the 2010 one is considered a classic like the 1984 one.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I think it's kind of sad we're not going to see like Karate Kid 2 or Karate Kid 3.
Yeah, it would have been good.
I mean,
and then taking it in different, like now that you've got the groundwork laid off, take it in whatever direction you want. You don't have to make it carbon copies or whatever. Because I think on the third one he goes to like Okinawa and the fishing village or whatever. Mm. And the second one I don't even remember.
So the second one was when he went to Okinawa.
What's the second one? The Okinawa fishing village. Okay.
Yeah, that's when they meet. He meets the girl, and that's the drum thing. Because I think it was in the third movie is when they meet Tommy, or whatever the hell his name is, the super asshole.
Okay.
That's in the ponytail. Ponytail kid. But it's like this movie was basically the first and second Karate Kid movie where it's like they were just like, let's not send him overseas in the second movie. Let's just go ahead and put him overseas.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good. So. Oh, did you want to do your little
IMDb thing?
Yeah, IMDb / Rotten Tomatoes thing.
I did. So that was a negative for you to say that you don't think that they're going to have.
Yeah, it could have been fun. I mean, now it's way too fucking late. 13 years after the fact, it's.
No, I don't want to rate it. All right. So the IMDb score for the original Karate Kid.
The original, okay. God, is nostalgia going to take people? 7.5?
7.3. Very close.
Okay.
Very close. Like, impressively close. It's no cats. But...
that was weeks ago. Let's get over it.
I'm just saying. So, sometimes things stick with you. Okay, so the new Karate Kid, 2010 version with Jackie Chan and Jaden. What do you think the IMDb score was on that?
5.8.
6.2.
Okay.
So, pretty close. It's going to take me a second
to get to Rotten Tomatoes.
To Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm going to need you to do a little tap dancing.
Just like Rum Tum Tug or whatever. Yes, we just recorded the cat's video.
Karate Kid.
And it was hard.
Yeah, that was a hard road to hoe.
That was hard.
All right. What did the critics give the original Karate Kid?
So, I wonder if it's been reviewed since then. Because now you're going to have people go back and love it. Mm-hmm. Versus during the time. I'm going to go 79.
89.
Okay.
11 points shy of being 100%. How about the audience?
91.
82.
Okay.
The critics liked Karate Kid more.
I wonder how much of it is. My dad made me watch this movie, and he's old as shit, and he won't stop talking about the Karate Kid. I give it a 3. Get over it, Dad.
Okay.
You were in karate in high school. I don't
You're
care.
no son of mine. I made you take karate. I named your studio Cobra Kai. Okay. The remake 2010 version of the Karate Kid. The critics, Nick.
I'm gonna go 69. Nice.
66.
Okay, it's actually kind of close.
Very close. How about the audience?
52.
67.
Okay.
So, still fresh.
They're right next to each other.
Still fresh.
I think they're worth a watch. And you're probably going to watch both of them and be like, and have the one you like more, and that's the one you revisit. Mm-hmm. And it's probably going to be the original one.
I think kids these days are probably going to watch the Jaden movie first, and then they'll find like the old school version most likely, if it hasn't been exposed because of like
maybe,
the Cobra Kai show.
Yeah, but I wonder how many people are going to watch Cobra Kai and then go back and already know Johnny, and therefore like the old one better because it's got Johnny Lawrence in it.
That's an excellent point.
And that keeps that one relevant, whereas the remake will lose relevancy over time.
That's an excellent point. I did not consider that. I just, it's kind of like whenever you, it's just what you're exposed to first.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who think that Whitney Houston wrote "And I Will Always Love You," and then they find out that Dolly Parton wrote the song, and it blows their fucking minds.
And I like the Dolly Parton one better, probably because I've heard the Whitney Houston one so many times.
Mm-hmm. Well, Queen Whitney, that version of the song is fucking awesome.
It's great.
But I love me some Dolly, so
yeah. And I'm over the Whitney Houston version. Like the Dolly Parton one is newer to me.
Let's go ahead and do a Dolly Parton review. Let's just do that.
She's at least an actress.
Oh my god, she's brilliant. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Good movie.
I don't think I've ever seen her act in anything.
I think it's Dolly Parton and Bert. The way it was meant to be. Back in the day. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Good movie. Matter of fact, you know what? I think they did a remake of that movie. We could probably do an old school versus new school of that. And we can see... if we did that, we would make sure that absolutely nobody would watch that because no one is fucking looking for that movie. Period.
And then YouTube would look at the title of that movie and be like, "Yeah, we're not so sure about that."
And we'll just call it the Best Little Fun House in Texas, so that way we don't get zigged by YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're done enough here.
All right. Join us next month for whatever we decide to do then.
Mm-hmm.
And join us next week for another vampire movie.
We're having a hard time figuring out some stuff. Like we've got some stuff on the back burner.
We've got a bunch of things picked out, but again, let us know.
Like we want to watch what you want to make us watch.
Mm-hmm. If you've got more ideas, let us know in the comments below. And also, I'm curious if you like the 1984 one more. Why? Is it nostalgia, or is it like, no, Pat Morita is so much better than Jackie Chan, or is it like, no, Daniel LaRusso made me believe I could do karate and beat up some of my bullies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was like, I could be like Daniel because he's just so awkward. But then when I saw Jaden like fucking doing the robot and popping and locking,
man,
I was like,
he's calling me.
I was like, I can't do that. I mean, he's setting that bar way too high. But
all right. Well, let us know what you think about the movies in the comment below. Give us more ideas for movies.
Subscribe, share.
Click the bell.
Just try it. Yeah, hit the bell. I feel so dirty every single time I say that.
It's awful. We try to put stuff out every Monday. Come back and view us. Come back and join us. If you like one series more than another, let us know because we're just kind of throwing spaghetti on the wall, seeing if it's done.
Yeah, we have not found the one that's stuck yet. Please help us guide it towards so we can narrow the field a little bit.
Don't make it be Blood Rain, or do. I don't care. I'll watch Blood Rain again.
They say that if you do the thing you love, it's not like you work a day in your life. And this reviewing movies and talking about movies and watching movies is something I love. And if they're going to make me do that, that's when it becomes work.
Yep.
So,
guess what, Lance? Time for Blood Rain 2.
Well,
and then time for Blood Rain Third Reich.
Oh God, please. If they're going to make us do that, then we're definitely setting up a Patreon. All right. Get out of here.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.